like to call this regular meeting of Board of Commissioners to order. If you can please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance and salute to the state flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the sea symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
So good morning, everyone. I'm going to do one more thing on the agenda, and then I'm going to change gears a little bit. But I'm going to go to approval of the regular meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second, Mr. Chair.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Edwards, a second by Commissioner Salas. Do we have any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, are we just going to wait to get to the item to table it?
Yes, sir.
And take it off the agenda? Okay.
Yeah, I was
That works.
thinking that, unless you guys wanted to do it now, I mean,
No, we can just
Either
table
way.
it then.
okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So before we move any further, I'd like to, sort of sad, but, this would be Commissioner Salas' last commission meeting, regular meeting, unless something comes up within the next few days where we have to have another meeting. But I really want to tell Commissioner Salas that I really appreciate everything you did for Grant County. I appreciate the friendship we have built since then. All your hard work that you did for Grant County has not gone unnoticed. Hopefully we as a commission, I know you had some projects that are lined up that we can seriously take a look at them and continue moving forward. I can tell you that I do want to meet with Commissioner Medina when he comes in, or Eloy Medina, and let him know of some of the things that you are working on. Hopefully you do the same, but I really appreciate everything that you have done. I think the county staff also appreciates what you have done. I did this morning, I handed you a little token of our appreciation, and you know what I want you to do, and I told you that wasn't for you. That is for your wife. What people don't seem to understand is we put ourselves in the line of fire. We do this for either 4 years, 8 years, whatever the case may be. We understand what we have to look forward to. We understand the shots we're going to take, whether it's letters to the editor, social media, whatever. That's what we sign up to. But, I know that I've come to know your wife. She's a very nice lady. I know she supports you 100%. And, when we go into this and our families are one of the biggest supporters that we have. Unfortunately, the way things are going and the way things have happened is, people don't understand how our families feel or our spouses feel when shots are taken at us and they read things. But, I think that your wife has been very graceful in seeing all that and supporting you, and I think we can't forget the support that she gives, and I really appreciate that. And she's a wonderful lady, so that gift there is for her, not for you.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it. I don't know what else to say about this, but I really want to thank you, and I know other commissioners would also like to say a few words.
Well, thank you so much.
Chris said much of what I would say, but one clear difference is that the little token of appreciation I left for you is for you, Javier, not for your wife.
Thank you.
It has been, as I put in the card, it has been a great pleasure. I've really enjoyed working with you a lot.
As did I.
And your concern for the whole county and for your district was obvious from day one. And I've really appreciated being able to spend these 4 years with you. I hope you're able to spend the next 4 relaxing and being glad of your fate rather than ruining it. I can tell you the second term isn't as fun as the first. I think it's you may have done the right thing or had the right thing happen no matter what, and I hope you look at it that way.
Well, thank you, sir.
So please do stay in touch.
Oh, yes, I'll be sitting out there.
I look forward to it.
Well, when you go last, everybody said almost everything. There is one really important thing that I would add that I have deeply appreciated over the last 4 years, and that is your perspective on the issues. I've learned so much from you, and it has really, being on this commission with you has made me a better commissioner. And I also have deeply appreciated your concern for the community, for the county, for county staff. But more than anything else, I've appreciated your perspective and all that I've learned from you. We have, I think, largely due to your persistence, we have some really amazing things happening at Baton Park. And I appreciate your diligence in making us see how important that was. I don't know that we had to be led too much, but all of your interest in that has made the county a better place for sure. And I'm really going to miss you on the commission, and I do hope that what has happened in the last 4 years is that we have forged a relationship that won't die at the end of your term.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you.
Well, I have a lot of comments that I want to make, but I don't want to cry right now because grown men aren't supposed to cry. Okay, so I want to save my comments, till my commissioner's report. But with this I say, I thank each and every one of you. I thank the county. I thank the people within the county. The experience, has been magnificent. So I'll reserve. Thank you.
Commissioner Salas, I'd just like to echo what the commissioners have all said. And I too have appreciated your passion for the things that are important to you. You have helped open my eyes to and broaden my horizon on how to look at things differently as a manager. And I'm sorry I missed out on 1.5 years of your term, but I have truly enjoyed working with you and wish you nothing but relaxation and not having to deal with this. And I will wave a little bigger when I see you on the road a few times a week. So anyways, thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you, Charlene, and I am so very happy that you're back there and you're providing the guidance that this county needs. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
So before we get going, the county manager, county staff, county commissioners would like to present you with this certificate of appreciation for outstanding service and dedication to Grant County on this 8th day of December 2022, and also they have a card here for you. So thank you, and I'd like to do that up front. Come on up here, County Manager. I know you don't like to, but. Again, thank you, Commissioner Salas.
Thank you.
So before I move on, I wanted to do this at the beginning of this meeting, and, you know, we have another elected official that we're deeply grateful to for everything he has done for Grant County, and the dedication, the changes he made for the best, for the citizens, taking on a lot of the critical incident team, looking at his budget, and I'd like to acknowledge our sheriff, Frank Gomez, and let him know that, you know, during your time as sheriff, you did an outstanding job. You did a great job keeping us aware of what was going on, what was needed in Grant County, and how we could support you. And I think, and overall, you did an amazing job, and we did notice a lot of good change in that office, and, you know, the passion that you have for this community, for Grant County, and everything you did for this county has not gone unnoticed. I really appreciate everything you have done. I know I've worked with you before. It's always been a privilege also to work with you in law enforcement, and also to support you the best that I could, and this commissioner support you the best they could for you to accomplish your goals. And I think you did accomplish a lot of those goals, and I think that sheriff's department reflected that. And I really appreciate that, Sheriff, and I want to thank you for everything that you did for Grant County. Commissioners?
I think the chairman said that very well. I would just echo that I think you have done an amazing job in your office. Really appreciate it. Your responsiveness to the community, your responsiveness to questions and comments that I had. It's a tough job of being a sheriff. I didn't have any concept of what that was really like until I took office, and working with you has, I think, been a very hopeful thing because of what you've been able to accomplish with the office. I appreciate your commitment to the behavioral and mental health challenges that we're having in this community, and you've done an amazing job. We really appreciate you and your entire staff.
Thank you, Sheriff Gomez. I couldn't say it any better than these two. You have done a great job, and I appreciate the way that office seems to have run extremely smoothly, and your reporting to us, very complete. Excellent responsiveness to questions. Thank you very much. Have a great retirement.
Senor Gomez, it's been an honor to serve with you. You know, knowing you as a sheriff and both as my friend, I'm so very proud of you for the commitment that you made, for the passion that you brought to the office, for not sitting back, you know, for going out there and going all out and doing everything that you could, for the things that you initiated that have done the county real good. You know, being a sheriff, I think, is a very difficult job, and you led us through this through some very difficult times. I hope that everything that you instilled in every one of your officers continues to go that way. You know, I'm glad we got to serve the county, but I'm so very glad that we got a high-quality person like you to run the sheriff's department and to lead it to where it is right now. So, God bless, muchas gracias, and I hope the future brings you many greater things, because remember, one door closes, another one opens.
Thank you for your professionalism, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it.
Okay, we can move on. So, public input. During this portion of our meeting, we welcome your suggestions and want to hear your concerns. This is not a question and answer period. Speakers will be limited to 5 minutes. Any individual would like to discuss an item in more depth may request to be placed on a future agenda. Request forms are available in the county manager's office. Do we have anyone for public speaking? Mr. Lucero.
Good morning, my name is Robert Lucero and I live in the
Mr. Lucero,
community
hold on
of
before a sec.
Hanover.
Can you bring the mic down and turn it on, please, so we can hear you?
It's the white button.
Good morning, my name is Robert Lucero and I live in the community of Hanover. And I come here to ask our commissioner and our sheriffs where we are at in regards to what's going on up in Hanover. The smell with all the animals, the flies have come down a little because of the cold weather, but the smell is still unbearable. Our creek is still being covered with filth. People are dumping up in Hanover continuously. There's a pile that has been put in front of the Empire Zinc mine as of recently. There's another one up in Fierro by the road. Mr. Gomez had come up to my property and installed a camera up there. Left it up there for 3 weeks. The camera was not working properly. I never heard back from Mr. Gomez, or where are we at in regards to that also? And those are my questions for today.
Thank you, Mr. Lucero. And just to let you know, during this period, we cannot answer any questions, but I'm sure somebody will reach out to you.
Thank you.
sir.
Have a good day.
You too. Do we have anyone else for public speaking? All right. Thank you. We'll be moving on. Next item on the agenda is going to be a Gila Regional Medical Center report. Mr. Brickner.
Good morning. First, turn over to our CFO, Patrick Banks, for the CFO report.
We'll see if this works today. All right, good morning. As we have yet to present our November results to our board, today is our report to the commission on the month ending October 31st. I'll give it a moment for the screens. There we go. So through October, our volumes trended similarly as they had the last couple months. As you can see, most of those lines are grouped together. That means we're near budget and, near where our volumes were in prior years. The exception, which continues to hold, is that the emergency room has been rather busy this year. That's the blue line that's, a little bit higher than the rest on the bottom right graph. All that means that, we were reasonably able to plan the month, and we came in the black again. That's where we want to be. That bottom line of 171 is thousands of dollars. Also important to note here is that we were break even on EBITDA, which means we're covering our operating expenses with revenue and having a little bit left over at the end. That's on plan. And as a result, we come back for the fiscal year closer to break even, where we want to get back to. We're still showing the results of July in the October year-to-date numbers. Since July, we've chipped away at that challenging first month of our fiscal year, and we're continuing to make progress towards break even for the fiscal year, which we hope to get to and expect to get to. Through this, we've maintained our key measures of liquidity. Those graphs in terms of AR days, the current ratio, and the cash on hand. Higher is better for the average payment period. Lower is better, and we continue to keep a low average payment period and slightly lower days cash on hand than we were previously in the year and still lower than critical access hospitals on average. You know, we've described that as a choice. It continues to be that choice as long as we keep that average payment period low. Combining the two, we're comfortable with where we are. Any questions on October? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick. So first, I'd like to thank Commissioner Salas for also your tenure on our hospital board. Your dedication and support of the hospital has been greatly appreciated. And in my time here, anytime we're discussing some of the difficult challenges that we have, you always ask great questions. And as CFO and both as CEO, you've helped keep me on my toes, so to speak. And I'm grateful for that. So thank you. So 2 weeks ago, we had the hospital board. And when the paper wrote up my comments from the hospital board and I reflected on the questions during the meeting, I realized I successfully confused everyone. And so my goal today, between my comments here this morning as well as our board meeting this afternoon, and please tune in for our board meeting this afternoon, is to go through the various surveys that we get in a little bit more depth, so that way I can clarify some of hopefully some of the confusion that I caused. So when I returned here in August, and what I'll focus my comments this morning on is our patient experience. And when I came back in August, I made this my number1 priority, and improving our patient experience, our patient satisfaction. And advance to the next slide. There we go. So I've showed this slide before, and really what we're focusing on here is those 3 gold stars. And so I began to ask the question, how can we get that to 4 or even 5? And this is a CMS benchmark. You can go to Medicare.gov and see these scores and compare us to hospitals all over the country. And so really this is where the attention today is on those 3 gold stars and how do we get that to 4? I don't know why I can't advance. Whoops. I think I know how to do this. Okay, so the survey that goes out, and this is I think some of the confusion 2 weeks ago. The patient experience survey is mailed to our patients, not by us, by a company called Press Ganey. It's a paper survey. We've looked at other options for that, and at this point, most hospitals are actually doing the paper survey because it has the best response rate. It's 29 standard questions that CMS picks, and in that, so we do not get to make suggestions on questions. These are standard, which then allows for the standardization among all hospitals in the country. They take those questions and they take the survey results, and so then take it through a very complicated formula to adjust that score based on the demographics of the patient. And they adjust it up or down depending on the patient. In my example here, patients 55 to 64, they inflate their scores on certain questions. And so the survey actually drops that score, so that way you get an apples to apples comparison. And that allows, when you go to Medicare.gov, you can compare GRMC to any hospital in the country, even my hometown in South Dakota. You can accurately compare apples to apples between the 2 hospitals. The formula is really crazy. This is the formula. And so if you're a calculus major, you can have fun with that. The good part here is that Press Ganey does this calculation for us. We are not doing it. And so they give us the outcome of the results. And so when I came back in August, I said, okay, there's 29 questions on the survey. How can we really benchmark ourselves and know if all of the work that we're doing is actually making a difference and doing better? And so I really focused the team on this likelihood to recommend question. When you look at the survey results, patients love our doctors, love our nurses. Will you recommend the hospital? No, not so much. And so by driving this question, everything else has to come together. The other 28 questions have to come together really to move this question. So if we focus on the results on this question, everything else should be coming together. And so what we're doing is we're listening to our patients. We're trying to do service recovery in real time. We still have improvement to do, but by getting the feedback from our patients, we can respond to their needs. The big ask that I have for this audience this morning is that we fill out the surveys. When you get them from the hospital, please send them back. I can't beg you enough to send back those surveys. We want your feedback. We want to know how we're doing, and that's where the completing those surveys, taking the moments. So slide across the eggnog and the Christmas cookies, and if you have a survey on your counter, please complete that and send it back in for us. So I shared this slide during the governing board meeting, a 285% improvement. And what I'm doing here is I'm comparing the trailing 12 month of 14% to the fiscal year to date 40% percentile. And so the 14th percentile means that 86% of the hospitals in the country are doing better than us. And we've moved that to the 40th percentile, shrunk that number to 60% are doing better than us. And so that I'm looking at percentile intentionally and not the raw score, because we want to know how we're doing compared to other hospitals. So just to be clear, trailing 12 months would be December of last year through November of this year. Fiscal year to date is July, then through November. Patrick just reported fiscal year to date financials. We look at everything on a fiscal year to date basis. So if we stack up trailing 12 months, and the reason for trailing 12 months is so that way the sample size is large enough to be meaningful. If we only look at 1 month, it'll skyrocket up and down all over the place. And what you can see here is that something really bad happened in April, May, June, in the spring of this year, our surveys, and there's about 20 surveys that came in. And so that's kind of the starting point that I picked up in August. So then, if we look at, again, trailing 12 months, looking at last fiscal year ended in the 19th percentile, trailing 12 months, which includes all of those bad surveys from this spring, we're in the 20th percentile here in December. And that number will continue to change. Unlike Patrick's numbers that never change, these numbers will change. And it's because we look at when the patient was in the hospital. We want to know, were the things that we were doing in July different from the things that we're doing in December? And so we look at the patient visit date. And so if a survey comes in now for September, it's going to go back into the September bucket. So if somebody has a survey out there and they appeal to my plea for surveys, it's going to go into the correct bucket. And that way, again, we're comparing apples to apples. So I want to know, are the things that all the staff is doing on the rounding and the improvements that we're making, is it working? And that's why I'm looking at the fiscal year to date number. And so now, in December, we're at the 56th percentile. We're moving up. And so that's a very good thing. And so hopefully it's sustainable, and we continue to get additional surveys that reinforce that message. So here I've added the little triangle there is our fiscal year to date, again with each of the trailing 12-month results. At this point last fiscal year, we were in the 37th percentile. So we're, again, doing better than where we were last fiscal year. Now I know if there's a statistics professor over at Western watching me this morning, they're freaking out. Because, and what are they saying? They're saying, but Greg, there's always regression to the mean. And regression to the mean, so that means as the population goes up, we'll end up sliding back down to a 37 or a 30 or a lower number as the sample size increases. And that's probably the one thing that keeps me up at night freaking out about this, is because when no surveys come in, statistically, it's possible, if we have not made the changes that I think we have, that you'll see this number decline. So again, these are all activities that we're doing to try to drive this patient experience, and we need the feedback. So please, feedback is a gift, and to the extent that we don't get feedback, that means apathy has set in, and that would be horrible. That would terrify me if we stopped getting the feedback. So complete your survey, send it in, and we're listening. We want to know how we can get better. So thank you, and I stand for any questions.
Do you have any questions? Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's great.
Moving to the next item of the agenda is going to be presentations. Our Grant County Sheriff, Fred Gomez.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you. This is my commission report for 8 December 2022. This morning, I would like to make a brief presentation that differs from the usual format. The prior month's stats are available for review if desired. Please contact me after the meeting to facilitate this. This will be my final presentation to the board as the Sheriff of Grant County, and I'd like to share some of the accomplishments during my term of office. Please understand that all of the forthcoming was made possible by a great team of dedicated professionals with support from many others, including all of you. Since 2019, the Office of the Sheriff has received approximately $1.7 million in outside source funding to supplement our operations and enhance them. These funds included the CIT program sourcing, Operation Stone Garden, U.S. Forest Service Patrol, vehicles with emergency equipment, safety and other law enforcement equipment, new ruggedized laptop computers, the electronic citation system tracks, emergency trauma bags, dare giveaways, and much more. The Office of the Sheriff attained an enhanced operation schedule with 12-hour shift schedulings, which in the long term did reduce overall abuse of leave and increase the number of deputies on duty at all times. In addition to this, the reconstructing of the command staff allowed for better overall supervision and command decision making. In the last 4 years, we have increased the amount of training available to our entire staff to include advanced skills subjects, crisis intervention, negotiations, and management. We enhanced the skills of our patrol staff with various law enforcement officer training, specialized certifications, and overall effectiveness as leaders in our communities. Criminal investigators were offered highly specialized advanced training in subjects such as homicide, interview interrogations, voice stress analysis, internet crimes against children, narcotics enforcement. We developed and implemented enhanced hiring practices, working closely with HR to ensure the most fair and transparent process to bring us the best possible people on the job. Similar practices were adopted for the promotional process to allow for a more merit-based system rather than one exclusively rooted in executive fiat and/or seniority. We developed a step pay plan, which was approved and adopted by the union, Manager Webb, and this board, bringing an equitable system that was first in our county. It remains a highly viable tool for us, although the numbers currently need updating. Our DARE program has been greatly enhanced through advanced training, including school resource officer certifications and more intensive programming for area schools. DARE remains a great resource to bring our finest to positively influence children and act as ambassadors for parents, families, and school staff. The Office of the Sheriff has provided many intensive active shooter response trainings in area schools and for other organizations per their requests. We have provided fentanyl hazard trainings as well. The Crisis Intervention Training Program has increased the effectiveness of the patrol staff in facing the complex and sometimes very serious situations in the field. They have de-escalated so many potentially dangerous incidents that I've lost count. We should all recognize this as lives impacted positively and sometimes a life preserved. I hope this program continues and advances. It represents the future of law enforcement in many ways. Our office was graciously remodeled to make it more suited to our use. This includes the improvements made to the parking area. This was greatly appreciated. We have worked hard to improve our professional relationship with many agencies our staff work with daily to positive results. We currently maintain an excellent relationship with the courts, the district attorney's office, our area law enforcement agencies, our partners, and we have assisted them in their time of need, as well as offered professional maintenance training to their staffs at no cost. I also recognize the positive relationship we have experienced with all of you and the manager staff. We could not achieve this without all of you. Again, I thank you. And prior to me leaving, I'd like to have Lieutenant Maldonado come up here, because he had some stuff to give. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I don't know how I was going to do this presentation, so I spoke to all our retirees' wives and asked them to type me a highlight of our retirees' career. So I'm going to start with Sheriff Frank Gomez. Frank has led a life of serving not only the public, but also served his country. Upon graduation from high school, he joined the United States Army, where he served from February 1985 to March 1992. Frank was a Ranger with the 75th Ranger Regiment, 3rd Battalion. Becoming a Ranger is an honor shared by a distinct few. A Ranger is a role model soldier, mentally, morally, and physically. They make sound judgments and they never quit. Rangers demonstrate discipline both on and off duty. Frank started his law enforcement career with the Baird Police Department in January 2003 as a school resource officer / patrolman. After several phone calls and encouragement from several deputies at the Grant County Sheriff's Office, he joined their team. Frank left the Baird Police Department and was hired with the Sheriff's Office in January 2005, where he moved up the ranks as deputy, senior deputy, corporal, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and sheriff. He was also the dare instructor / coordinator from 2010 to 2018, where he left an impact on several children in Grant County. Frank is the only sheriff in New Mexico who still carries this certification. Due to his leadership abilities and the rapport he had with the deputies he worked with, they urged him to run for sheriff. After some encouragement and a lot of support from the department and the community, he became our sheriff in 2019 until his retirement at the end of this year. And on behalf of the Grant County Sheriff's Office, we'd like to present you with the plaque. You can come up. This is presented to Sheriff Frank Gomez for your 20 years of dedicated service to the people of Grant County. Best wishes on your retirement from the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Thank you. Next, we have Captain Jess Watkins, 31 years of law enforcement service. He went to Western New Mexico Police Academy. Jess began his law enforcement training at Western in 1991. While attending the police academy, Jess was recruited by the Gallup Police Department. When Jess completed the police academy, he started his rank as patrolman and worked diligently to the rank of first lieutenant. During his tenure, he was a patrolman, first patrolman, corporal, investigator, detective, agent, sergeant, second lieutenant, first lieutenant, special agent. He was with the Gallup Police Department from 1991 to 2003.
While working for the Gallup Police Department, Jess attended the Waiver Academies for the Navajo Nation and Bureau of Indian Affairs. With this training, he became cross-commissioned to work cases on the reservation. Jess attained instructor's certification for firearms, DARE, GREAT, building search tactics, select firearms instructor, two-man search tactics, general policing, and many more. Jess was also trained to dismantle clandestine drug laboratories. 2003 to 2011, he worked with the Hatch Police Department, started as a patrolman and was promoted to sergeant and became a K-9 handler. 2011 to 2016, he started with the Grant County Sheriff's Office as a deputy and promoted to corporal detective. 2016 to 2018, he went back to the Gallup Police Department and started as a detective/narcotic agent. 2018 to 2022, he came back to the Grant County Sheriff's Office, started as a deputy, promoted to lieutenant, and then captain/undersheriff. Every agency Jess has worked for, he proved to be an asset and quickly promoted. He shared his knowledge as a firearm instructor, SWAT team leader, and first-line supervisor. Jess has assisted in major narcotics investigations resulting in multiple arrests. For this, Jess was given commendations from the DEA. Jess also investigated homicides that resulted in arrests, bringing closure to families that lost their loved ones. After 31 years of serving the public, Jess has remained humble. As Jess retires, he is proud his son, Charlie, will succeed him in law enforcement. And if I can get Captain Watkins up here. This is presented to Undersheriff Jess Watkins for your 31 years of dedicated service to the people of Grant County. Best wishes on your retirement from the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Our next retiree is Lieutenant Malvin Castillo. Malvin decided to better his life and his family by choosing a career. In 1995, he decided to pursue his dream of law enforcement. He registered and attended the Western New Mexico Police Academy from 1995 through 1996, where he graduated in the top 5% of his class. Once completing and graduating the academy, he accepted employment with the Hurley Police Department in Hurley, New Mexico. He was soon promoted to sergeant. Knowing that he had a family to care for, being a wife and young son, he made the decision to apply with the Baird Police Department for the simple reason that the Hurley Police Department did not offer any benefits, such as retirement or insurance. He then accepted employment with the Baird Police Department as a full-time patrolman. Malvin worked there for 3 years. He enjoyed his job and enjoyed the community he served, but again, his family came first. He now had another child, his older daughter. So again, to better his family, he made the decision to attempt to change departments, as it has always been his goal to work for the Sheriff's Office. In 2000, he was offered a job at the Grant County Sheriff's Office as a patrol deputy. Now with the third child, he tried even harder to promote and better his family. He was later promoted to a corporal in the patrol division. In 2010, he was then promoted to sergeant, again attached to the patrol division. Malvin never had any interest in leaving the patrol division, as he believed this is where he was able to best serve the community, as he never tired of his position. Over the years, he participated in many parts of the department, such as Certified Field Training Officer, Certified Member of the Tactical Team, later took over as Team Leader. He was a Certified Instructor, Field Sobriety Test Instructor, IR 5000 Key Operator, Grant Supervisor for Traffic Grants, and Certified Checkpoint Supervisor. These are only a few of the many roles he played in the Sheriff's Office. Then in 2017, Malvin decided to start a new chapter of his life and retire honorably with 20 years of service. But then he decided to stay on, as this was not the best decision for his family. Then in 2000, he was then promoted to lieutenant position, overseeing his great love, the patrol division. His duties also included supervising the patrol division, court security, the civil division, and he was a PIO. And again, so much more. Now, after 25 years of serving the community that he so greatly loves, he has decided to start a new chapter of his life and retire honorably. Malvin did not come to this decision lightly, as he will always be a deputy in his heart, but as he says, this career is a young man's game. I know for a fact that this decision weighs heavily on his heart, as he truly loved his career choice and would do it again if given the chance. But again, his family comes first, and he will pursue a new adventure which will benefit them. He always gives thanks to God for all of his blessings, and always thanks his loving wife and family, who have always been right there with him as he served the citizens of Grant County. If I can get Lieutenant Castillo to step up here. This is presented to Lieutenant Malvin Castillo for your 26 years of dedicated service to the people of Grant County. Best wishes on your retirement from the Grant County Sheriff's Office. We have one more retiree, Lieutenant Mike Burns, and he's not here today. He's actually starting to enjoy his time. But just kind of a quick highlight. Mike had 27 years of law enforcement. He worked 2 years as a custodial detention officer, 5 years as a deputy probation officer, 4 years as certified school resource officer, 14 years patrol experience, including city and rural areas, 9 years at rank of corporal, 1.5 years investigations experience, 4 years as a lieutenant. He's worked patrol, civil, CID, and administrative oversight. 4 years experience, volunteer, firefighter, 10 years experience as department professional in service and biennium requirement instructor trainer. So, and like I said, he's not here, so I didn't bring the plaque, but we'll get it to him. I just want to say it's been a pleasure the last 4 years working with these guys. It's been amazing. Thank you guys. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without you guys, your support, your encouragement. I'm gonna miss all the talking and chatting and the agree to disagree, and it's just been a pleasure. I love you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for doing that, man.
That's all I have.
Thank you, man.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, that concludes our report. Thank you and take care and God bless.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations, Sheriff Captain Watkins, on your guys' retirement, but there's one person in this room that I'm gonna give a little ribbing to still. That's your Lieutenant, Castillo. You know, all the times I worked with you, you did an outstanding job. You know, your sense of humor and your big heart got us through a lot of these tough times, and you know, only people that have worked law enforcement understand the things that they see, the things that they go through. And I know that times that I've been by your side, that big heart of yours and your sense of humor got us through a lot of things. And you know, I'm fortunate, you know, that Grant County's gonna lose a lot seeing you walk out that door, and so is not only the Sheriff's Department, but this community, because you do have a heart of gold and the interest of the public at heart. And I really want to thank you for all your humor and the laughs we've had and what you've done. I really appreciate that, and I'm gonna miss you walking around these halls. But I thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyway, let's move on. This is hard, you know, retirements or commissioner. But anyway, next report or presentation is gonna be by our treasurer, Mr. Patrick Hahn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. I, as Treasurer, personally want to thank Commissioner Salas and Sheriff Frank Gomez for their public service, their years in public service, and it's been an honor to serve with both of you in public service. Before you is going to be the financial report of the county treasurer, the tax schedule maintenance report for the total 2022 tax roll ending November 30th, 2022. The amount of $5,202,966.67 of taxes have been collected, and a total of $8,067,931.01 uncollected for the 22 tax roll. The total percentage collected for the total 10-year collection as of November 30th, 2022 is 89.53%, which a total of $108,916,477.23 of taxes have been collected, which leaves a total uncollected balance of property taxes of $12,732,279.42. I also, as promised from our meeting last month, attached the auction of final sales from our last tax auction we had with the property tax division. And just to recap, there was a total of 99 properties. Here it says partial sold 77. So 22 of those properties were actually, the property owners either came in full to pay the total taxes, penalty, interest that were due, or made payment arrangements with the property tax division up in Santa Fe to make payment arrangements so they could keep their property. Out of those 77 properties that were sold here in the Grant County Chamber meeting room, like I said, was a total of I'll just go through this here. So the total taxes that the county is going to benefit, so total sales amount, there it is, $503,200. Total taxes due that the county's gonna be receiving is $42,825.90. The total penalties, this is gonna be going to property tax division, $18,438.31. This total fees is gonna be their cost to state fees that they collect at $9,375. And the total excess money of $432,560.79, that will be going back to the property owner. That concludes that report. I stand for any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions, Commissioners? No questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Ponce.
So moving on to the next item of the agenda is going to be the approval of minutes for November 14th, 2022, special meeting minutes, November 15th, 2022, work session meeting minutes, and November 17th, 2022, regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of all 3 minutes.
I second that, Mr. Chair.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Brown, we have a second by Commissioner Salas. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to financial reports under F, consideration of December 1st, 2022 expenditure report.
I move approval of the expenditure report as presented.
Second, Mr. Chair.
I have a motion by Commissioner Brown. I have a second by Commissioner Salas. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Under G, we have the fiscal year 22-23 quarterly financial report ending September 30th, 2022.
Move to approve, Mr. Chair, as presented.
Second?
So I have a motion by Commissioner Salas. I have a second by Commissioner Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to new business. It's going to be consideration of realignment of existing two CASA Advisory Board membership expiration dates to December 31st of the year of their current term expiration.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve.
Second?
So I have a motion by Commissioner Edwards. I have a second by Commissioner Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Under new business, item I, consideration of Grant County Substance Abuse and Addiction Treatment Center, to CASA Advisory Board Charter revised on December 8th, 2022.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve this item as presented.
Second the motion with appreciation for bringing that to us. Thank you.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Edwards, a second by Commissioner Brown. Discussion? No discussion?
Are
Okay.
you expecting some?
No,
Yep, I appreciate the commission, the number of times that we've brought these changes to you, but I feel like the changes in, what we're making these changes for will streamline our guiding principles, and appreciate your approval on this. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, may I ask for my benefit, since I'm still catching up, can you explain what the changes were?
Yes. So the composition of the membership, we have made it formal that there be 2 HMS providers, 1 advocate with lived experience, 2 advocates, 3 community members, specify the detention center administrator, and the cross-section of the community, and so the charter now will actually say the term of the membership shall last for 3 years, to expiring on December 31st of year 3, with a third being appointed each year. And then the meeting times being a minimum of quarterly rather than monthly. So we could still meet monthly, but we changed it so that it's a minimum of quarterly, so that we have the option of meeting quarterly rather than every month.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Edwards.
And I'm sorry, there is one more thing, the confidentiality, that all members will sign the confidentiality.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Going on to item J, consideration of ARPA funding request for IT server infrastructure refresh.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the ARPA money request for the refresh.
Second the motion?
So I have a motion by Commissioner Salas, I have a second by Commissioner Brown. Do we have any discussion? So this was the, I believe, 150 from ARPA from the remaining money, right? If I remember right, correctly?
Yes, sir. So it's a little over 150,000. You had
347. I believe.
347 and
Yeah.
unallocated out of the first tranche, so that's what we would like to utilize.
Any further discussion?
No, I really appreciate the work Adam's been doing.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, see no further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Under item K, consideration of asset deletion transfer request number 3.
I move approval, Mr. Chair.
Second, Mr. Chair.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Brown, I have a second by Commissioner Salas. Do we have any discussion?
I think we asked them to make sure that the detention center wants all this stuff, and I'm sure that that's being done.
Right.
And that they're not getting, you had a question about the
Outdated.
Expired, right.
Expired Kevlar.
I did speak with Joseph, and he does want the equipment, and he is aware that he needs to double check dates and make sure that none of them are expired.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving to agreements, consideration of agreement number A-22-31.
Mr. Chair, would you entertain a motion for all three?
I will. So under item L, M, and N, it's going to be consideration of agreements A-22-31, A-22-33, A-22-34, and those are all capital appropriation agreements from the New Mexico Finance, which is for Baton Memorial Park in the amount of $450,000, for the Crisis Intervention Facility, the amount of $500,000, and to equip purchase and equip vehicles for the Sheriff's Department in the amount of $340,000.
You've done all the work.
And I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Oh, yeah. I make the motion to approve all three of those that you read.
Then I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion by Commissioner Brown, and I have a second by Commissioner Salas. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Under item O, consideration of agreement number A-22-35, Silver City Magistrate Court Lease Agreement.
Chair, I move we table item O at the request of the county manager.
Second that.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Brown to table. I have a second by Commissioner Edwards. Do we have any further discussion?
We'll see that next month, we think?
I hope so.
We hope so.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor to table?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The item will be tabled. So moving on to resolutions, consideration of Resolution R-2257.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number R-22-57 as presented.
A second?
So I have a motion by Commissioner Edwards, a second by Commissioner Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is Q, is consideration of resolution R-22-58. This is appointment to the New Mexico County's Insurance Authority pool, and
We're appointing the county manager, correct?
Yeah, do we have an alternate?
Currently, you have Commissioner Edwards as the alternate.
You willing to continue?
Yeah.
Have you done anything?
Haven't had to.
Okay,
Haven't
fair,
had
then I
to.
don't feel bad when appointed.
This is an easy one.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve Resolution R-2258 with the appointments of County Manager Charlene Webb as the voting member and Commissioner Alicia Edwards as the alternate member.
I'll second that.
I was getting there, I was gonna. Commissioner Brown made a motion and Commissioner Edwards seconded the motion. Do we have any discussion? See no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion
Aye.
carries. We have our county manager and our county commissioner on there. Moving on to the next resolution, which is our consideration of resolution number R-22-59. And this is the resolution to support the Forest Service continued efforts to remove feral cattle from Gila National Forest.
Mr. Chair, I move approval, Resolution R-2259, and I appreciate the lengthy discussion we had on Tuesday.
I'll second that.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Brown. I have a second by Commissioner Edwards. Do we have any discussion?
I would like to discuss one thing. You know, it is the Forest Service, and they pretty much can do what they want. But I was wondering if we've reached out to any of our senators to, I mean, if anybody could influence what's going on and give approval and do that, would be our senators, Lujan and Heinrich. So have we made any attempt to go there?
I have personally spoken with Senator Heinrich, well, it was probably a year ago now, about this issue. It's hearsay, but I believe what he told me, he supports this removal. Now, whether you're asking for a specific intervention from him, I didn't make a request for a specific intervention. I conveyed to him my interest in having this happen.
No, I was just wondering if we had reached out to them since, you know, I think their opinion would be more weighted than ours, seeing they are on the federal side. But,
Yeah, no, they would be. And are you, I'm just curious, because I'm happy to follow up, and I have not spoken with Senator Lujan's office about this. If you want me to convey something to you?
No, this is something that's necessary, but I was just wondering because continue to keep them in the loop so that they continue to provide support to the county.
Well, I will do my best to keep them in the loop.
Thank you, sir.
You know, and I think that brings up a valid point. I think we're looking at, you know, Commissioner Salas brought up a valid point too. We're looking at the U.S. Forest Service, and we do have U.S. senators in this area, and I would hope that some of our people here in Grant County would reach out to them to come up with, you know, ideas or solutions regarding this. You know, I understand, and I sat here and I listened a lot to, you know, Mr. Provencio, and listened to some of what you had to say, and, you know, I really don't agree with Mr. Provencio, and I should have probably told him while he was standing there, but I could probably call him and let him know. I disagree with him as far as, you know, leaving carcasses out there that cannot, you know, potentially be more dangerous than the cattle with, you know, mountain lions and so forth, because, you know, animals are territorial and they're getting free, you know, a free meal. They're gonna protect it. That's why mountain lions bury their thing. But, you know, at the end of the day, I've listened to everybody. I've listened to what you've had to say, Commissioner Brown. You know, I just hope that in the future, I listened to Commissioner Edwards during our Tuesday meeting. I hope that in the future we look at this and we also take the totality and what was best described and said by Commissioner Billings. And unfortunately, Commissioner Billings couldn't be here today, but, you know, when we have a bad actor that I think that, you know, and to help protect the livelihood you know, of our ranchers and what they put, that we take a little bit more time to really look at what their needs are also. You know, we always, like I mentioned before, and I'm gonna be repeating myself, you know, we have a thing of, you know, using lethal methods, which, yeah, I disagree with some of those lethal methods myself, you know, especially the M44s, I see that, but, you know, sometimes with wildlife services, they're, like Commissioner Billings mentioned, there is a bad actor that is causing loss to some of our ranchers and all that we need to, you know, and we need to support them too. You know, I do strongly believe that nature does have a way of taking care of itself. I understand climate change. I understand it's getting harder, but, you know, at the end of the day, listening to everybody, listening to what's going on, I hope that we do reach out to our U.S. senators, and that we also reach out to our our senators in New Mexico, our representatives, and see what changes can be made to some of these laws to help the Forest Service, to help the livestock inspectors, because I think their hands are tied. I sincerely think that this isn't going to take care of the whole problem. My heart breaks leaving animals like that just laying out there. I think we're going to run into the same situation in Pino Salto sooner or later, and I hope that somebody's listening to us out there and understands what our concerns are and what we feel. And you know, at the end of the day, sometimes I think that our resolutions will go into a pile. They're not read, they're just put into a data system. You know, the stats are computed, they're thrown out, and at the end of the day, you know, Forest Service has complied with the law, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do. So sometimes, you know, some of these resolutions, I appreciate it. I thank you for bringing this up, Commissioner. Don't take me wrong. But at the end of the day, I think that some of our resolutions are just gonna be, you know, paperweight and not really taken too seriously. But with that being said, I mean, I don't have a problem supporting this resolution and listening to you and understanding and hearing what it is, but I still do have my opinions on some of this stuff, and I thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I add that I don't think that this is gonna be a one and done. I think this is gonna be a continued problem, so I think that the Forest Service is gonna need continued support on this. You know, I think that they're going to, the gravity of the problem will be addressed right now, but they're gonna have to continue with this, because they can't let it get to the point where it is so serious that they have to do the things that they're doing right now. You know, if it can be something that it's a program that continues and, you know, it's eradicated, maybe then we have hopes that it won't reach the point that it does, such as it may become a problem in PA. Because, you know, the wild feral cattle do present a problem. So that's why I wanted to make sure we have the federal side, because that's where they're gonna get their support.
You know, one other little piece that I forgot is that I don't know, and I didn't dig too deep into this, but I don't know if other ranchers or if other people have cattle legitimately out there that are branded, that are being looked after, and I'm hoping, and that's probably a question for Mr. Provencio and the Forest Service, is that they don't accidentally cause any harm, and they do their due diligence to identify what they're shooting, or if they're gonna move them off property. But I just wanna mention that. I hope they do their due diligence in trying to separate that. And I don't know if there's other permittees out there with cattle that are legally there.
So he did mention that there are people who say they want to get those allocations that are adjacent to this area, but they're currently not being leased. There are no adjacent allocations being leased at the moment. But that is one reason why the livestock inspector is, you know, supposed to be involved, especially when the contractors bring them out. You know, these inspectors make sure that they're not branded or tagged. That's part of the process. Obviously, I agree. We don't want the government or anybody else shooting private property.
Exactly. Any further discussion?
You know, I think I'm going to save my comments for commissioner comments.
And who made the motion? And you seconded it? Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
So this is the hardest part of this meeting, trying to throw this out. So I'd like a motion to recess as a Grant County Board of Commissioners and convene as a Grant County Health Care Claims Board.
Second.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Salas, second by Commissioner Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, so we're the other board now. Under G is consideration of indigent burial claim for October 2022. And it is recommended for approval in the amount of $600.
I move that we approve.
Second.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Edwards, I have a second by Commissioner Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to the next item under the Healthcare Claims Board is consideration of indigent claims for October 2022, and it is also recommended in the approval amount of $793.07.
Move that we approve.
A second.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Edwards, second by Commissioner Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Under item U, consideration of November 2022 indigent claims, and I believe I'll make a motion to table that.
We don't have any claims at all?
They're not ready to be.
Or they're not ready?
They weren't ready, but it got placed on the agenda anyway, so you will just table those till next month.
We don't have to table it then?
You do need to table
Well, I
it.
just made a motion to table it.
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
did.
But
I
yeah,
made
there
a-
are, but there aren't. We
After I
don't even
finished
know what the
talking, I
amount
said
is.
make a motion to table it.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, so I have a motion by me to table it. I have a second by Commissioner Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of tabling it?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is tabled. Thank you, County Manager. Now I'd like the motion to adjourn as a Grant County Health Care Claims Board and reconvene as a Grant County Board of Commissioners.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Salas, second by Commissioner Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. So we're back as the Board of Grant County Commissioners. So, I'm gonna go ahead and start with Commissioner Brown. Do you have a report? Change it up. I know
You did
Commissioner
change
Salas
it up.
has some stuff, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's a good
save him
point.
for last.
No, I want to wish everybody from my fellow commissioners, county officials, to the county manager, staff, and the public, very happy holiday season. I hope everybody's safe and enjoys the holidays safely. Those of you traveling out of country, I hope you have good, safe time out there. And, don't consume the entire gift at once, Mr. Salas.
We've got that.
Thank you all.
Portion it out.
Commissioner Edwards.
So, after we left on Tuesday, I did a fair amount of research on feral cattle, which led me down a couple of interesting paths. One is that it's not just feral cows that are a problem. Feral horses, there are tens of thousands of feral horses in the West. And there are also lots of feral pigs. And I personally am very grateful that we're not having this discussion over feral horses. But it's actually a serious problem in the northern part of the state, and they're having problems keeping them off the interstate and a whole bunch of different things. But what I really want to say about this is, and usually when I say things like this, I like to be more prepared than I am this morning, so I might stumble around this just a little bit. But, you know, fundamentally, the issue of feral cattle, feral horses, feral pigs, feral cats, feral dogs is a personal responsibility issue. And it isn't just caused by individuals, although it is largely a problem of individual personal responsibility not being met. But it's also about organizations that buy properties that they want to be in the public, or spend efforts on buying grazing permits and then not maintaining the area, fencing, all sorts of things. If you Google this, there is a lot to know about feral animals. But this is the conclusion that I made this morning, is that, you know, fundamentally this is a personal responsibility issue that then people want government to address. And not only do they want government to address it, but they don't really want government to address it in ways that make sense, and nor do they want to raise taxes to give government the resources they need to address some of these issues. I don't really have any conclusions about this, but it does put us in a rather interesting spot to have to think about killing animals because it might be the only way to get them to solve the problem reasonably. One of the things that really struck me about the conversation we had the other day, I'm not wild about the idea of killing these feral cows. On the other hand, I'm less wild about the idea that we would drive them out of these places and they would arrive at wherever they're going to arrive, so stressed that they're having heart attacks or have broken limbs or, you know, whatever. And so what is the humane way to address this problem? But what we're really doing is having to go through all of this conversation and thought process because of a lack of personal responsibility. And I'm particularly struck by that in the situation in PA. The situation in PA is a problem that somehow government, whether it's the sheriff's office or the county commissions or the feds, the Forest Service, whoever, livestock board, somebody's going to have to take care of. And so I would just ask the public that when you're thinking about, you know, abandoning your animal, whether it's a ferret or a cow, you know, they're going to do what nature does. They're going to reproduce, and then they're going to cause problems. The other thing I want to say is we're 8 weeks in to Charlene Webb being back as the Grant County County Manager. And I just want to thank you, Charlene, for being back. I know that we handed you a lot of fires, but you have jumped right in, and we really appreciate you coming back to Grant County. That's it for me.
Thank you, Commissioner Edwards. Commissioner Salas.
Yeah, I've rehearsed this speech many a times in my sleep, and I know that our audience is thinned out, so this is a part ready for us. You know, I'm at the end of my journey here in this capacity, but the beginning of my journey occurred a long time ago at my father's side. He's very involved in politics and the union and community service, and it was something I never really wanted to get involved in, but when the opportunity presented itself, you know, I took my brother's words to heart that, you know, if you want to affect change, you have to get within this institution. So I was really honored and humbled to be elected. And once I got here, it was the educational process that took me first, because I was not aware of the intensity of the job that you guys have before you. So I really appreciate the opportunity to learn, to make mistakes. I really appreciate the diversity of this board, you know, social programs and education, mining and law enforcement, ranching on this side. You know, I appreciate the opportunity to be an individual, but also to become a part of the group. Most of all, I appreciate being a partner with you guys. You know, being able to say your piece, but also to be integrated into the group and make the decisions that affect the best things for Grant County. I really think that our job has been to provide the best outcome for the county. I really think the county has some excellent people. You know, I look at our treasurer and I look at Connie and our great county manager, and I say, we're surrounded by such good people. And so I thought myself, you know, I'm gonna do this with sadness in my heart, but no, it's happy that I've been blessed with the opportunity to do this. You know, I was blessed with the opportunity to be part of the democratic way. You know, every time I stand up here and say the Pledge of Allegiance, it still sends chills through my bones, and really fortunate to have this opportunity. I'm really fortunate to have the opportunity to be with you guys. And although I won't be, you know, your colleague anymore, now I think I can consider you just my friends. You know, I want that to be, you know, for the last part of my life, you know, I'm at the last stages now. I want to be able to consider you friends and to, you know, happily see you at the Walmart or wherever we encounter ourselves. You know, it's been an honor. It's been an honor to serve the county. It's been an honor to be associated with the people in the county. And so I don't say too many words. You know, I'm going to borrow a phrase from a favorite general of mine. And when it came to his time to go, you know, he said, "Old soldiers never die. They just fade away." So thank you. God bless you guys. I hope that you can bring Mr. Medina and have him assimilate into your group and become a cohesive member. And I really think that that's going to happen. So Godspeed to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Salas. So, I guess just my comments real short first is just tell everybody out there and hoping that this is our last meeting this month. And I'm looking at our county manager. I have no idea what's coming up, but, you know, happy holidays to everyone out there. Be safe. You know, in seeing the changes today, you know, sort of, you know, I really appreciate Commissioner Salas and you know, the conversations we've had and things we've discussed, but it's a sad day when you see all these law enforcement officers that are retiring. Pretty soon I won't know anybody in law enforcement. But you know, it warms your heart that there's a, you know, like I believe it was Commissioner Salas has said, you know, one door closes, there's other doors that open. You know, and being here, you know, I'll start my second term January 1st. You know, it's the friendships that we build here. It's a respect that we have for each other. Yeah, we might not agree on everything, but we always respect each other, talk it out, and hopefully we stay open-minded, listen to each other. And it's hard, you know, to lose somebody that you've sat up here with for 4 years, you know. But, you know, I'm looking forward into this, and in 2 years it's going to be even harder. You know, we lose 3 commissioners. You know, I don't know what me and Mr. Medina are going to be. We may just be sitting up here twiddling our thumbs. I don't know what's going to happen in those years, but you know, this is a good commission. I am so happy that, you know, I've gotten to serve with Commissioner Salas and with Commissioner Edwards, Commissioner Billings, and Commissioner Brown, because I think at the end of the day, our heart has the interest of Grant County. And regardless of what we feel, what we think, or what sometimes our personal views are, at the end of the day, we make decisions, hopefully with everything in our heart and to better Grant County. So Commissioner Salas, I really appreciate what you educated me on, what you brought to this commission, and I want to thank you again.
Heartfelt welcome to all of you guys.
Thank you. Anything else, Commissioners?
Mr. Chair, I move that we adjourn.
I'm gonna second that.
You're gonna
Should've
second
let you
that?
have the
We
motion.
should let Javier have the motion.
No, that's fine.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Brown, second by Commissioner Salas. Do you want us to have discussion and keep you here a little longer?
It's a short meeting.
Yeah, we broke the record possibly. I know Mary Alice is happy. But anyway, we have a motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We are adjourned.